One of the most common pitfalls for allegedly radical movements can be how little effort they make to be accessible. Think about it, if you're trying to empower disenfranchised people, but you're excluding disabled people, people with chronic illnesses, people without disposable income, people with families, then you're not only missing a whole bunch of potential support, but you're not doing your job. And you're not reaching the people that are least represented. When I was younger, a lot of political meetings were held in pubs, at night, on weekdays, and I had pretty understanding parents, but these were mostly school nights. And now it makes me think about how many parents, especially single parents, were in the same position of it just wasn't an option. Even more noticeable is the lack of thought that normally goes into whether it's physically accessible. Like, are your meetings regularly held up a few flights of narrow stairs? Is there anywhere near the entrance that's reserved for disabled parking? I mean, these are really simple things. They don't take a lot of time out of your work and your movement, but they are things you take for granted and they make a really big difference. And how regularly do you think about how welcoming your group is to join? Do you have resources that help people who don't have a PhD in Gramsci join the conversation? I don't think there's any point in a political movement when you've got everything right, because politics isn't an endgame, it's a process. These are the kind of questions you can be just asking yourself as you go along. How open are we? How accessible? In the description I will be linking to a couple of different resources discussing accessibility and disability politics, because I think combating ableism is really important in our society, because it's like I was making the point in the self-care video. Our society, because of the capitalistic nature of how it runs, equates your value as a person with what you're producing. People that it sees as less capable of producing are seen as less valuable. In fact, it's still legal in most places in the States to pay disabled people far under the minimum wage. Think about the language you use in your movement statements. I mean, do you start equating the word worker with value? Because that tends to turn me off right away. People talking about the wage gap, they need to incorporate this idea. I've talked about it before, but disabled people also face a lot of threat of sexual assault. And so when you're talking about rape culture, disability is a huge part of that, and you need to start bringing that into your conversations. Radical means getting it from the roots, and which means you have to be coming from the bottom up, and you need to be bringing things together. And if you're not building a community that can bring everyone together and make a real change, I don't know how radical you're really being. I think it's a problem that a lot of the time people are less interested in really making a wide change and bringing what they're fighting for out into the forefront, making it a big part of people's lives, really helping people, making it mainstream, because then they wouldn't have their cool, radical little clubhouse to be in anymore. On that note, I have been trying to make an effort to get closed captions on my videos in an effort to make what I do more accessible. Because I still have exams coming up and I'm just finishing my dissertation today, I haven't had time to go back through old videos and do it, but I am trying to make sure that the videos as I upload them are getting captioned. After exams in May, I will just take a day, sit down, go through old videos, and hopefully get nearly all of them done. One of the people I'm linking to in the description is a blog called Still My Revolution on disability and radical politics, and it's really great. I've only been reading it basically since right before I started filming this, but I'm basically gonna, when I finish filming, just gonna go read the rest of their blog. It's really great. So yeah, have a great day, and start thinking about access.